concept albums are pretty amazing. I like an album that tells a good story, as you people know. I like it even more when a band carries a concept through most of their works. Madina Lake, much like the feature from the previous season of Backtracking, is one such band. Forming in Chicago, Illinois in 2005, the band gained buzz pretty early on thanks to their unique blend of musicianship and storytelling. They only released 3 albums during their first run, but these guys are more than the sum of those parts. I'm about to tell you all some of the information about those parts, both good and bad. And what better time to do that than with a recent reunion and possible new material on the way? Now, let's face the music. We start with the band's debut album, From Them Through Us to You. Released in 2007 through Roadrunner, it's the only one to be produced by Mark Trombino, and it's the band's longest album at 48 minutes and 44 seconds. This album also contains my first Madina Lake song in House of Cards. Now, onto the background. Twin brothers Nathan and Matthew Leone were in a band called The Blank Theory, while Dan Torelli and Matteo Camargo were in a band called Reformer, both bands coming from the Chicago area. They toured together, and the Leone brothers befriended Dan and Matteo, and since they weren't getting anywhere with their respective bands, they formed Madina Lake together alongside fellow Blank Theory member Sean Curry, but he left soon after the band started working on their own material, making the lineup lead singer Nathan Leone, guitarist/keyboardist Matteo Camargo, because Sean Curry was originally the keyboardist, bassist Matthew Leone, and drummer Dan Torelli. Matthew and Nathan got some amount of fame as they appeared on Twin Fear Factor, and for doing some challenges the fastest, they raised $45,000, enough to using it to create their debut EP, The Disappearance of Adelaide. After that EP was a success, the band was soon signed to Roadrunner in 2006 and put out their debut full-length album almost a year after. The band toured alongside the likes of Story of the Year, Mayday Parade, and Fightstar, and they were planning to take part in the 2007 Warped Tour, but dropped out as Linkin Park had specifically chosen Madina Lake to be part of their Project Revolution tour, playing on the Revolution stage, a stage where lesser-known bands could get their name out to bigger audiences. Honestly, props to Linkin Park for that, that's just kinda cool. The band even took part on the main stage of Download in 2008 and released a DVD that year as well. But is this album as good as all that? Well, fuck yeah, honestly. I did technically listen to this one already because me and my brother had a copy which I burned onto my L360, but it's been so long since I last heard it that I forgot how good the album was. Be wary when seeking this one out though, not for any bad reasons, but some songs are replaced with more advanced versions of themselves on some releases, basically meaning that those versions are shorter, and I often like to go for the bare bones longest ones I can find. The concept behind the band's music is present on this, as it revolves around a fictional town set in the 50s, a town that's obsessed with the sudden disappearance of a woman named Adelaide, the town's most famous socialite. The music matches the concept and it has good tone and drive, being heavy when it needs to be. The lyrics go over love, politics, and celebrity status, all tell well through the story, and the band hit all the marks too. Nathan's vocals switch from screams to cleans and have great range of impact. Mateo's solid riffs and solos here and there. Matthew's bass is deep with amazing tone to it, and Dan's drumming is fast, quick, and mean. Standout songs include House of Cards, Here I Stand, In Another Life, The Closer, and True Love, and my favourite, In Stars. Them Us You fills its time fantastically with a great pace, still has storytelling, and a lot of punch to it, and I can recommend this one. We then reached their second album, Attics to Eden. Released in 2009, it would be their last through Roadrunner. They're only to be produced by David Bendeth, and it's their shortest album at 37 minutes and 17 seconds. Now, onto the background. Yeah, it's keeping it short and simple. Considering that their debut was a resounding success with amazing touring festival opportunities, it wasn't long until the band were working on the sequel to their story. It also did well, and the touring opportunities were great again. They toured with Amblin in Canada, with Silverstein and Emery in Hawaii, and I know some people pronounce it Silverstein, I prefer Silverstein, and they played the prestigious Soundwave Festival as well as all dates of the 2009 Advance Warped Tour. With all that touring, it's safe to say that the band did more than enough, not just being a part of those big tours, but sharing with big names too, much like what happened for their debut. And that just kept going, as for 2010 they toured again, hitting up the UK's Arlene Ball tour with help from bands like Mayday Parade and We Are the Ocean. So that tour was handy for raising interest in smaller local bands, and those bands getting to tour with a bigger band like Madina Lake was a huge boon, especially considering how huge they were at the time. The tour also helped to promote the band's next EP, the Dresden Codex, named after a Mayan codex of the same name. There was another important thing that happened to Madina Lake in 2010, but we'll get to that a little bit later. For now, let's stick to Attics for Eden. I forgot to mention how experimental their sound was from their debut, and they had so many more layers to it here. It also lends to a broad story, and also to a heavier album, I think. Maybe the album feels heavier because it's about 11 minutes shorter than their debut, but it doesn't feel that short, honestly. This is the only album of theirs that I hadn't listened to prior to writing for this episode, so maybe the element of surprise has caught me off guard. Who knows? All I know is that Attics to Eden, like their debut, kicks a lot of ass. The pacing is brilliant, I like the tone as well, and I like the heavy feel to it, helped thanks to more gang vocals and chatting. Also, the production value is amazing here. The album is almost 10 years old now, but I feel like it came out more recently. It adds more layers to the structure, which is already deep and rich, and heavier pacing is anything to scoff at either, and the lyrics go for more personal stuff while still tying to the story, with songs about anxiety, love, anger, and coping. And the bands are all great again too, obviously. Nathan does a bit more screaming, still with a good clean range and a lot of power in his vocals. Mateo's riffs are great, and he has more solos to go with it. Matthew's bass work is deep and solid and carries good weight, and Does drumming is heavier and harder with good grooves over sound. Standard songs include Let's Get Out of Here, Never Take Us Alive, Silent Voices Kill, Friends and Lovers, and my favourite is Statistics. More layered and deeper while still well written and performed and with great production value, Attic Sweden packs a lot of pleasant surprises, and I can recommend this one. And finally, we reached the band's third and most recent album, World War III. Released in 2011, the band would switch to the Razor and Tie label for this one. It was produced by the band themselves, with Billy Corgan producing the track Imagineer. Now, onto the background, or to be exact, the other important thing that happened to the band in 2010. In June of that year, Matthew was sent to hospital after stopping a man from beating up his wife. The man's wife, not Matthew's. But he was beating up himself for his troubles, suffering skull fractures and brain damage, and being comatose for some of that time, with the poor dude having to have a third of his skull removed to heal up. He recovered fairly quickly, but had to wear protective headgear for a while just in case. Near the end of 2010, he was fully recovered, and it got better too. He got his skull patched back up, and with Leone's favourite band, the Smashing Pumpkins, raised $80,000 to pay for Matthew's hospital bills, which I presume is what led to Billy showing up to produce a song on the album. Matthew was a damn hero for what he did. Here's a salute to you, you absolute legend. Speaking of the album itself, though, it's a finale in the trilogy to the story of Adelaide, where the famous fictional socialite has been discovered after missing for so long. It then leads to a war with good and evil fighting, mirroring the internal struggle of human beings. It's a good metaphor, and I like it, and the fact that the band carried it through 3 albums is quite the feat. Their touring wasn't too shabby either, as sad as it was, because, well, it was their last tour at the time. In 2012, they embarked on the trilogy finale tour, playing 8 shows across 8 days in intimate venues across the UK. They played the entirety of their debut album each show, along with songs from the other 2 studio albums to wrap up Adelaide's story. The band even sold things relating to the story, like t-shirts, books, and they even held meet and greets where they could discuss the story of fans. However, it's not just story over substance or style. The album has that signature Madina Lake sound all over it, with more experimentation tried and paying off really well. The structure is steady, still easy to get into, and very difficult to get out of your head. The lyrics use the storytelling well again, this one going over dark things like war, missing those you love, love itself, and addiction. No wonder it was a favourite of mine 2011. This shit's good, as are the band themselves. Nathan's vocals are powerful as usual, with good force and control. Mateo's guitar work is good riffs and some nice solos too. Matthew's bass is deep and hard and with good tone and riffs. And Dan's drumming has great fills and timing too. Standard songs include Hey Superstar, They're Coming For Me, Imagineer, Fireworks, and my favourite in Blood Red Flags. A great conclusion to a really, really good story. World War III is well crafted, written, performed, and produced, and I can recommend this one. So, let's round them up. I feel like my favourite is maybe World War III. I just like the conclusion and the focus on storytelling, but with amazing musical work to back it up too. It's got a really, really great balance to it, and I really like that. Least favourite is maybe From Them Through Us to You, but I actually like all of the band's albums quite a lot. I just feel like they got better over time, and they were still rough around the edges back in their debut, but what band isn't when it comes to a first album? That is just my opinion, and I'm not sorry if it offends you. You'll never take me alive. Anyway, join me next time where I'll cover Birmingham, Alabama, not the UK, their band, well, Birmingham, Alabama's band, Nine Lashes. It's not just them there, but it's, that's where Nine Lashes are from. I'll start rambling now. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'll see you all probably for that, or more likely the next Fight of the Night review, unless the Ultimate Fighter is starting soon. I don't know. Anything could happen. Gonna stop now. Thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye bye.